What's up, man? It's your boy Finance Keem, and I help protect what matters. We here at Ground 3 Radios, and you're rocking with Mike on the mic.
Yo, what it do, family? It's your favorite host, Mike on the mic from the Vibe Perspective Podcast. Tapped in with my guys at Ground 3 Radio. DJ OK, man, we back at it again for another Vibe Style Wednesday, another series of interviews. Shout out to all my listeners tonight. And make sure you tap in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, man, because everybody that been showing me love, been showing me super crazy love, leaving comments, telling me how much they love the show, watching it at work, watching it in their car, etc. Watching it with your kids, man. I hear every single feedback point y'all give me, and I love every one of y'all, and I appreciate it. Keep tapping in because we working hard on these videos. Everyone on the team working hard on these videos. Even whole Ground 3 is tapped in. We good, man. And listen, make sure you tap in. Make sure you, call in that 443-377-1872. Again, the number is 443-377-1872. Leave a message. Tell me how much you like the show. If you don't like the show, tell me that too, because all of the feedback matters, man. I'm telling you. And I got to get straight to the business, man, because we here with a super special guest, a game changer in the building, man. Like, a true wave maker, self-made educator, you know what I mean, from his knowledge from, mise en place, you know what I mean, putting in place, to his expertise with the market, be it food or financial trends. Man, this guy's talented, is gifted, on his way to being, in my opinion, a billionaire mogul status, you know what I mean? Got an incredible person in the building, got an incredible guy. Man, Chef Keem, a.k.a. Finance Keem in the building. What's up, bro?
What's going on, boss man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to have you.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? To my listeners who want to learn more about the stuff he's doing, learn about the stuff that he's working on, go over to @FinanceKeem on IG. That's @FinanceKeem on IG as we go through the interview so you can match the work to the man himself, man. I'm just glad we got you here. It's a couple of things we had to get over to get you in the building.
Yeah, man, couple humps. Something in the universe didn't want this to happen, bro.
No cap. I mean, we talked about a little bit about the things that stopped you from coming last time, and I seen the picture because the car was smoking.
Yeah, bro. It was bad. Like, I didn't want you to think that I was flaking based off of the context of the conversation that we was having.
It's all good.
Leading up to the time. So when I even sent you like the picture, like, yo, my engine light just came on. Like, I just wanted you to know, like, I'm not making this up. I'm not ducking, not bluffing, bro. It's just something just crazy happened to the car. My engine light, I had the car probably 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. Never had one problem like that. Never engine light never came on. Wow. Not nothing. Never overheated. Not nothing. So on the way up here, it just engine light come on, overheat and go crazy. I'm talking like in the span of like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it just go from like, yo, we regular temperature to boom, cut the car off.
Hot. It's hot.
Crazy.
That's so crazy, man. Because I think things happen a lot. Like life be life, and I think people say that a lot. People, it's almost cliche at this point that, like, stuff is going to come at you. Like, stuff is really going to change everything you plan to do today.
Exactly.
It might be everything you plan to do this year. It might be situations that arise. It's like, yo, this is going to change everything for me right now. And I didn't even expect for this to pop up, And I think, I have a lot of conversations with people. We sit down a lot, with people and individuals and, moguls and chefs and, artists, whoever, people who own their own businesses. And all of these moments always pop up. And I think anybody who's listening, you already know where I'm going with this. Make sure you find a gem in the conversation because that's life.
Yeah.
That happens to people whether you like it or not.
Right.
Whether you're prepared for it or not, and that may or may not change exactly where your journey is going to go.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
If I can speak to that, yeah.
For sure.
So in my background, I know we're going to get to it, but as a chef, the first thing is like 3 staple things that I've been taught over the years, and one of them was whatever can go wrong will go wrong. So if you prepare for the plan B as if it was the plan A, you be all good. And so for that scenario, the car cutting off, I'm like, all right, whatever. I can't do anything, but I had AAA and all of these other things, like we talked about the fire truck. I cut off right in front of the fire station, police station, and all that. So it was kind of, it was
truck right across the street.
Convenient, right?
Right.
But in that sense, like being prepared, it was just like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna panic or whatever. And I always kind of find the silver lining in things. So I call my girl, it's late or whatever.
Right.
So I call her like, look, I'm on the side of the road, bye. And she like, yo, are you safe? She panicking and stuff. She like, man, I told you shouldn't have go.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here like, bro, if I didn't go, this would have happened to you because you was next up to drive the car tomorrow. How would you would have handled it?
Wow.
You feel me? And she was like, you know what? You right. I'm glad you outside. So it's just like, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah. And I was in a position, thank God that I was able to get the car back up and running.
Yeah,
and so
facts.
Within a matter of a day, 2 days, I think I text you like, yo, we good.
Yeah, we good. We back on road.
So, just make sure that you can plan for the plan B, right?
Facts.
And all facets of life.
No, that's a gem. I told you, watch out for the gems because there's gonna be a lot in this episode, and I'm just glad. I told you, over text, but like I'm glad that you're good. I'm glad that situation worked out for you because stuff be happening, like in real life, and it'll really change the course of whatever you plan to do. So I'm just glad that your stuff is still good, your car is good, you're safe, your family's good.
Everything good. Bro.
Everything is good.
It worked out.
It worked out, and we're here now. So, all right, let's get actually back into the interview because, the reason I have people sit in front of me is to talk about, the journey that allowed you to be the person you are right now. And I got to start from the beginning. Like, originally from Newcastle, Delaware?
Nah, so I'm originally from Philly.
You're originally from Philly?
Yeah, I'm originally from Philly. My family moved to Delaware when I was leaving elementary, so getting into middle school. So I went to high school in Delaware.
Yeah.
Wanted to go
Delcastle Tech, right?
Yeah. You did your research.
Got to.
So I did Delcastle. All right. So and the reason how I fell into being a chef was
I can tell you that story. You want me to tell you that story?
Oh, tell the story, please.
Okay. So you actually got started by accident.
I did.
One of your best friends, Kippy. Actually, Kippy Malloy, I think. AKA Kip Nice. Shout out to Kip Nice.
He do his big research. He know first and last name.
You know what I'm saying? Took your career card. It was the application deadline, and he actually wrote culinary arts on it as a prank.
Yep.
But I got to step back for a second because that's not even really the entire full picture because you wanted to be a graphic designer.
Yes, I did.
I
don't even know if I shared all these details.
Man, don't worry about it. I got you. And I'm so glad I got you here because I can finally tell you, that I know this story and it matters. And the reason I know this is because it really matters for your entire journey. I mean, but I got to continue. You wanted to be a graphic art designer. And, it was actually carried over from the time you were in middle school because you wanted to play video games and test them.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And it's so funny. This is super funny because I got to connect all the dots for a second. Because the first thing you got to do as a graphic arts designer is like draw a straight line, like with a ruler. And you saw that and that you notice off top that wasn't for me. Like I'm not doing that. And I'm just like the foresight to know that like, this isn't my lane. At that age, a lot of people don't have that foresight. Yeah. And you was like, not really feeling this, yo.
And you exactly right. So one of the things, my mindset was like, I know how to draw. I think it was a little arrogant and a little,
we all have it.
At that age, it's like, I don't understand that when you doing something, you got to start from zero to build yourself up, right? Yeah. So they're like, yo, this is a ruler. This is a protractor. I'm like, bro, I'm not about to do this for 4 years, dog. You're not about to try to tell me how much an inch is. Like, I'm not going to do that. So they like, yo, draw a triangle with a protractor. So I just get up and walk out like, this ain't it.
All right,
and under that arrogance, it's kind of like a full circle moment when you look back on life. It's like, I really thought that I knew something. I had no idea. The reason why they teaching me the basics is so that it's a foundational piece for when I wanted to move forward, right? And so what I thought I knew, I took it. And if I would have, let's say I would have stayed in that class and like not even took that part serious, it would have crumbled somewhere else. And the thing about the prank was when he wrote that on the card, I knew nothing about how to cook. Yeah. So I went through those foundational steps and I was like, okay, I'm learning, I'm building, I got it. So I took what I thought I had over here and like discarded it, and God placed me in a place where it was like, we're gonna use your weakness and make it a strength type of thing. Yeah, man, that's like 5 gems in that. I'm telling you, and that's so crazy. I mean, in that same time, I wanna say like, you ended up spending like 4 years in the culinary arts program and ended up graduating top of your class. I think you got your like Serve Safe and like Pro Start certificates. Yep. You got real like
tangible certificates to move you in like the real culinary field that a lot of people work really hard to get and can't get. You know, straight out of high school, you got it. And, you know, like, I want to say around that time of high school, you did, like, 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out of, like, I think it was the co-op program, right? Trade training. Paul O'Toole, Donnie Stevens, you know, shout out to your culinary co-op. I think they imparted a lot on you. You know, and particularly Chef Paul apparently was super old school. Like, he was real old school with it.
Super
you know,
old school.
And like he was chef. Like, I think I correlated back to like people who are in like jazz programs who like have the conductor who would throw the cymbal at your head.
Facts.
Like
that was him.
That's him.
That's him.
You
like
know,
if you didn't get the plate right, he breaking it. Like he taking the plate and breaking it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, it cost you more to break that plate than to show me how to do it right. I never understood it, but like that's the type of guy that he was.
Yeah, that's like, and we talk about foundational like. You know, understanding. We talk about foundational building to really make you the person or the creative you are at a high level. It takes those small moments. Yeah. And he honestly knew, it's like, I've got to show you how passionate I am about this plate.
Yeah.
So you know how to do this right forever.
Right.
Like, it'll stick with you. Like, can you tell me about, tell me about Paul O'Toole, tell me about, Donnie, tell me about Chef Paul. Because those were really formative moments in your life that really made you real in this space, you know what I mean?
So just a little backstory. So when I'm in high school, I'm on the football team, and a really good friend is his name is Donnie Stevens. He's the son of Chef Donnie. Yeah. So we bond like in and out of school, you know what I'm saying? So I knew Chef Donnie prior to, like, I call him my uncle. Yeah. So when I got the job, it's like, yo, this is a different side of me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Uncle Donnie. Like, we gonna work. So I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. So a couple stories. One time, to this day, we argued. To this day, about 15 it had to be what, like 20 years later, we still argue. So he gave me directions, and I'm gonna give you both sides.
Sure.
He said to me, this is my interpretation. He said to me, shave the carrots. It was like 50 pounds of carrots, bro. It's a lot of carrots. Like, it's going to fill up this table. Yeah. So he's like, shave the carrots. We're going to make, I forgot what it was, but we're going to shave the carrots because we're going to make something. So I'm shaving the carrots, and I'm going for like 2-3 hours. Shaving all the 50 pounds of carrots. Yeah. So he comes in, and he like, yo, what are you doing? And I'm like, yo, bro, you told me shave the carrots. So I'm doing exactly what you said. He like, nah. I said, dice the carrots. I said, bro, you never said that. So we go back and forth like 20 years. But whatever. So, and this is one of the first places I've learned whatever can go wrong, will go wrong.
Will go wrong,
Plan B. Yeah. So I asked him, I'm like, all right, so what are you going to do? Like, I messed up. What are you going to do? You throwing it out? He like, nah, I'm not throwing it out. We're going to find something else to make. And he remade the menu based off of those
shaved carrots. Yeah.
And that was the first time I was like, you know what? Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. Oversee your employees, even though you don't want to be a micromanager, make sure you check in periodically, right?
That'll pop up too.
And always have a plan B, right? So always figure out how to maneuver in the situation. So that one time taught me all of that.
Yeah.
Chef Paul O'Toole kind of taught me, this is something I was doing outside the kitchen. We was in it's a golf course. Mm-hmm. So I go on break or whatever, and I was supposed to like take like cases of Gatorade down to the storage.
Sure.
I'm doing donuts in the golf cart.
I would too.
I'm in high school.
I would too.
My first time driving the golf cart.
Right.
Like, I'm doing donuts in the golf cart.
It's a large go-kart.
Exactly. Like, I'm drinking Gatorade. I'm doing all that. What I didn't know is it was cameras, right? And so Chef Paul O'Toole, he brought me in and was like, yo, look, I already didn't vouch for you. This wasn't my idea. This was Chef Donnie's idea. Yeah. And you're proving them right? And if it wasn't for Chef Donnie, you would not be here anymore. And I needed this to graduate. He was like, yo, you would not be here anymore. Wow. And you wouldn't graduate. You have to do it all over again.
Wow.
I'm telling you this because the respect I have for him and what he vouched for you. But my decision is for you not to graduate because look at what you're doing. You're wasting my time. You're wasting my money. You're wasting my product. Yeah. And he really sat me down and kind of like, it wasn't even like a big brother. It was like like, you're not good enough, right?
Yeah.
And so at that time, I was like, man, F him.
Yeah.
But as time went to go on, I was like, bro, he was right.
This real life.
He was right. Because now, for me being in a position like him, as a chef with, restaurants and employees and stuff like that, I look at it like, bro, what you doing, bro?
Yeah.
Like, why would you even do that? And for me, I just thought it was something cool at the time. Mm-hmm. But for him as a business owner, it was just like, it was reckless. And it was stupid. So just having all that perspective, man. But those are two stories that always stick with me. From time to time.
That's foundation building, right? Like
definitely.
that is things that, and I always say this, is like, it's so many important moments that we grew up with that we like take for granted in a moment. But like, as adults, we look back and understand that was formative for us. Like, that really imparted something that was important. That taught us lessons that we probably wouldn't have learned elsewhere.
Exactly.
And I think that is very important to know the person. And I always, when I sit across from somebody, I'm like, these are pivotal moments that people that follow your work need to know about. Mm-hmm. Because that has made you into the person that they see today.
Exactly.
That matters.
Some of those points.
You know what I mean? And I mean, I think we're still in like 2006, 2007, because like you graduated, got a scholarship to go to New England Culinary Institute. Actually, with some pretty notable alumni too, by the way. Like Emeril Lagasse.
I don't know where he's getting his research from. I want y'all to know. I don't even think I put this on the internet before, but
like, Graham Elliott, man, Chris Santos.
Yes,
like,
I had so my chef who trained me in the program knew Chef Michelle, Chef John Michelle. He was like the chef dean of New England Culinary Institute. He came through, and he kind of did like a demo or whatever. Yeah. I was in the demo. You probably seen it. You doing all your research.
I'll let you tell it though.
It made the demo ended up making the newspaper over all that, and he pulled me aside and was like, "Yo, you're doing so well. I will give you a full ride, like right now."
That's fire.
And that's fire. I'm like, yo, bet I got a full ride to New England Culinary Institute. For y'all who don't know, New England Culinary Institute is arguably the top culinary school in the country. Culinary college.
I think so, yeah. To me, it is.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here like, yo, this is lit. Like,
it's crazy.
This is lit, but I also want to play football. I also want.
We'll get there. Yeah. We'll get there. Yeah.
So, I ended up not taking a full ride to play football. Like,
we talking about scholarships. You also got a scholarship to Johnson and Wales, like with the likes, and mind you, also very notable alumni. Like, these are, for everybody who doesn't know, these are really good culinary schools.
These are like Ivy League.
These are like Ivy, like the Yale and the Stanford of culinary schools. Yeah. Like, Alton Brown, I think, went to Johnson and Wales. Like, Gavin Kaysen, like James Fortier, like
big
these
names.
people are.
Huge.
Like huge, like you were talking about Food Network, bigger than that, like own restaurants, Michelin stars in New York type,
exactly
names, and I think that just gives people like an understanding of like what level you were at, even in high school. Like you were at that level, you could just be with those names. But despite getting a scholarship to culinary school, like you said, like you decided you wanted to play football, and I mean, and run track too, by the way.
Yeah.
And run track at Morgan State. And I always say, like, even though sometimes we made a right instead of a left in our lives, all of the decisions we made matters because we're here doing the best things we were supposed to do, being exactly in the spot we were supposed to be in. Like, had you went to the big culinary schools, would you have been made the same decisions, met the same people, interacted the same way? Who knows? I would like to think that you would have, but we would never know.
Nah, I wouldn't have.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We would never know.
Exactly.
So I'm glad that you made those decisions, and no matter how short-sighted they might have been in the moment, it was like you didn't even know you were setting your future up.
Exactly.
You had no clue.
Exactly. Because I was sold on Johnson Wells because they had sports.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And
yeah.
So they got 4 campuses: Providence, Charlotte, somewhere else, and Miami. Yeah. Denver and Miami. And Miami has sports. So I was like, yo, best of both worlds. So I go down there on a weekend tour. Yeah. I got already setting up like the scholarship. I'm going down there on a weekend tour. I didn't have a cell phone. This is probably like 2005, y'all. Chill on me.
I mean, man.
I didn't have a cell phone. So my mom gives me her cell phone. And 2 things happened down there. One, I'm like 16. It was lit. I mean, I was getting in clubs. I was like on South Street at 16, bro. So
you was up.
So imagine all the stuff I'm recording in the phone at this time.
Oh God.
So I never deleted the stuff when I got back home. So my mom she got phone numbers in there. She got pictures in there.
She don't know none of these people.
Videos, like shots, all that. 16. So and then when on the way back, it was a hurricane, and flight get delayed, and I get rerouted to Charlotte. Right. So I had to spend the night in Charlotte and then come back home. So all of that, my mom was like, "You're not going. You're not going to Florida."
There's no way.
I'm like, "Yo, bro, this is it. Like, sports, culinary, this is all I want." She's like, "Yeah, you're not going."
No way.
And so from there is where your story picks back up. So if it wasn't for my mom, I probably wouldn't be sitting here.
Shout out to moms, because she made a great decision. You was outside.
It was crazy.
I mean, but if we wrap sort of back to Morgan State, like I think your homie like Dumaine had said like, "Yo, we gonna go to Morgan together. We gonna go crazy." And also, you played football at Del Castle, right? I think it was number 88.
88
and 18, right? Wide receiver,
God's
what I'm saying?
bro.
Like, shout out to Coach Pete Lock, too, by the way.
Yo.
Hey, man,
he does his research, bro.
Come on, man.
You work for the agency.
That's crazy. I don't. I can't get that narrative out there. But, I mean, I got to put some respect on your name, too, because you talk about athletics, best of both worlds. Like, you still a triple jump, like, record holder to this day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and hurdles, by the way. You a record holder. That record still stands in 2024. You know what I'm saying? And that matters. Even with the All-State, shout out to everybody that made All-State, by the way, because that's not an easy.
It's not easy. Yeah.
It's not an easy.
Not easy at all.
And there's I always like to mention that people are very talented. At an early age, like when you see people that are at high levels now, it's like a lot of times you can see that when they're kids. Like you excelled in many like track, football. Like I mean, the school wasn't very great in terms of the record, but like your ability there matters. Like individually, culinary ability matters because like even your decision making, even though we was kids, we made bad decisions, but like there's a level of foresight there, there's a level of discernment there. And a lot of times when you see people at this high altitude, this high level, that like it started with something that's real. As a kid, they got this mind in them. They have this like, skill, this talent in them. That's what matters in your story. Yeah. At a kid, you was doing some pretty big things, and I think I can't, skip over that. I gotta give you your flowers.
I appreciate that. One, I never really looked at it, like that from that lens. Yeah. I always knew that I was a very decisive person, and when I make my decisions, I'm going with it full fledged, right or wrong. Yeah. I also know that not everyone is like that, so I don't judge people for being indecisive. Yeah. And so. I wanted to say thank you for that because you enlightened me. And, just to talk about it a little bit really quickly, track and football was like, that's what I love to do. Yeah. So I missed the first 2 years of football because I never knew when the tryout date was. It's in the summertime, right? And so after sophomore year, I was like, you know what? I'm not missing the date. So I hung out with the football team every day. Until just to get junior to year. I'm talking like they was like, yo, we going to Taco Bell, we going to McDonald's in the summertime. I'm there. Like, I'm with you. I'm doing everything. Yeah. And so I trained hard, hit the weight room, did all of this. Fun fact, and between freshman year and sophomore year, I grew like 5 inches, right? So I was really short. So I came back like a totally different man, right? Yeah. And so junior year, I had another growth spurt from junior year to senior year, but I'll get there. So junior year, I'm in the weight room, I'm doing all that. I set the record for like squats. I don't want to make it sound crazy, but I was on some Saquon Barkley shit. Yeah, like real talk. I was in high school squatting like 500 pounds. Yeah. And I don't know if that record still stands, but it was up there. The last time I checked was like 2018.
Yeah, it was up there for sure.
So I come back, make the football team. I'm on JV, but I have part-time skills with the football team, but I'm on JV. Right. So one thing that sticks out to me to this day was we played the first game. Now they make the 2 captains right before the game. I'm disappointed at not being a captain, but at the same time I'm like, bro, why are you a captain? Why would you think you're gonna be a captain? You a rookie.
Yeah.
Pretty much. This is your first time ever playing high school football. They don't know you. So I end the game with like 12 tackles.
Damn.
As a safety. So we get back on the bus, and I see the coaches in the front talking with the 2 captains. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, what they talking about? Whatever. I did my thing, though.
Right.
And so they pulled me aside and like, yo, we're going to make you a captain. And I was like, it's lit. So I was a captain for the next 2 years. So that was the first. That's one story. But then track was amazing, bro. Track, I don't know. You ever ran track or played sports? I haven't,
but I played sports. Yeah, I never ran track though.
Track is amazing, bro. It's like its own culture thing because you always with the team. Y'all travel together. It's not like any other sport to me. You got your individual sports, but it's still a team.
Right.
And so from that aspect, it was pretty good. My coach focused on the stars. I don't want to say that I was a star. I was kind of like a pivotal role player. Yeah. That could probably make the All-Star team once or twice in the career. Maybe I'm being modest because I did make the All-Star team.
I mean, you probably could do it more.
But yeah, I worked hard at it. I wasn't a sprinter, and my coach focused on sprinters. Okay. So I kind of had to find my own coaching on the side. Ended up getting in the triple jump. One quick story about that.
Sure.
I was thrown in there because I was a long jumper. So he threw me in the triple jump, and he was like, yo, figure it out. So there's certain rules. You're supposed to hop, skip, jump. Mm-hmm. I was skipping, jumping. So
really?
you get 3 times before you disqualify. Mm-hmm. So for the first 2 times, I'm skip, jump. And they're like, wrong. Skip, jump, wrong. So I go up to the judge. I'm like, why am I wrong? I'm landing on the board. What's going on? They're like, you're skip, jumping. You're supposed to hop, skip, jump. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay. So I do a hop, skip, jump. And I get second place. And that was when I was like, you know what? I'm going to figure this out.
I'm going to figure it out, right.
And me and my guy Rush, we ended up figuring it out. And we get like top 10 in the state or something like that in triple jump. Yeah. Get top 10 in hurdles. And the career starts to take off. I showed the track coach at Morgan like my high school numbers. And he was like, yo, these could win. In college, and I was
in real life.
I was like, what are we doing here? Can I get a scholarship? I'm used to scholarships. Like I'm not used to paying for nothing.
Exactly.
So, I'm like, here my numbers are better than some of y'all's. Can I get a scholarship?
So let me get that money, son.
So our budget don't really work like that.
No, for sure. I mean, and I'm glad you went there because despite like all your accolades in track and football, like you ended up actually not playing football or running track at Morgan. Yeah. It's funny how things work out that way.
Facts. So my guy Dumaine, who was like, yo, we going to Morgan, we playing a football team, never actually came. And for me, I didn't have a school to go to because I wanted to go to University of Delaware. I got denied. My mom appealed it. By the time the appeal went through, I had to wait till like next year for applications or whatever. So I'm just like, man, whatever. I'm going to go to the community college and we're going to figure it out. Morgan ends up coming to the school. And Demand is already like, and Donnie, he's already like, yo, we're going to Morgan, we're going to play football. I'm like, all right, bet. So I put in the 1-day application.
Let's do it.
Like, you accepted. Okay, cool. So I guess I'm going to Morgan.
They
end up not showing. Donnie comes for a semester. We go try out for the football team. We make the team, but the coach is like, yo, we don't have any helmets. We're going to redshirt y'all. So I'm like, I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that.
I go to track, and they're like, yo, we don't have the budget for scholarships. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just at Morgan. That's how my career just...
And that's how it started. Yeah. It's very pivotal, too, because at that same time, like, it's a very pivotal era, right? Because this is the same era that, like, you and some of your friends, including, shout out to DJ Flo, who was your roommate, Daquan Lawrence, Fred Watkins founded the nonprofit organization Smooth Inc. And strong men overcoming obstacles through hard work. And that's important.
That book good.
Founded in October 18, 2009.
Yep.
At Morgan.
28, 2009.
28, yeah. Did I not say 28?
You said 18.
October. Oh, yeah, no. The only reason I say 18 is because that's actually something we share. I actually founded an organization called the Men of George Washington Carver at Howard University. Nice. It's an all-male, freshman-led organization. But, and it's so crazy because I heard your story and I was like, man, like, that was the same impetus I had going to Howard. I was like, there is no place for a freshman, male, young black men to, like, really have brotherhood and really like instill real like lessons and values that follow you through manhood. And you did the same thing, but it was like, and it's crazy because we were founded on October 18th. That's why I said that.
Oh, gotcha.
October 18th, but yours October 28th, 2009. And I think that was just like, for me, doing research is very seldom moments where I have a full circle moment for myself. I was like, man, like, you know, we both, you know, and mind you, I had 4 founders, you know.
Dang, and almost the same.
Almost the same, right? And I'm like, man, like super full circle for me because like I know what that moment was like of like making a decision like, no, we're going to make this. Like we're going to make something. And it was probably a lot of people in your ear saying, ain't nobody ever did that. Yeah. Like you can't do that here.
You trying to make a new frat, like all that.
You know what I'm saying? And look where you are now. Yeah. From 2009 to 2024.
We just celebrated 15 years.
Congratulations, by the way. You know, I gotta tell you Happy Founders Day when they come around next year. But you know, but like it's, you know, I think that's such a pivotal time because, you know, these foundational moments matter. The moments where people tell you can't do that. People that, you know, the obstacles in front of you look so great, but you did it anyway. Yeah. You know, tell me about that moment. Tell me about, you know, linking up with your brothers and like making this really a real thing.
Yeah. So I always like to grab key moments out of the situation. So 2 key moments I got is when there's this picture of us. It's on the internet somewhere. One of us got it, but it's me, Daquan, and DJ. We're sitting at a round table, and we got no shirts on. But the table was like flooded with paper. Yeah. Like, you can tell that we like doing work.
You're like locked
in. Yeah. And so that one, it was like, yo, we was really focused and serious on setting something unprecedented, right? At the time, because there wasn't anything either at Howard or at Morgan, right? Yeah. And so that was one thing. It was like, oh, we were really locked in on the situation. I'm glad like none of us slipped. Right?
Yeah.
And then the second thing is someone who I thought was against me so bad. I'm talking in college, I hated her guts. So it was her name is Miss Corbett, and if she ever listens to this, I love you so much. I told her this story one day. It was her birthday or something. I'd seen her on LinkedIn and I told her this story. Sure. So we were founding Smooth, and throughout the process, you know, we got to submit the paperwork and get approved and all this stuff. And she was denying us left and right.
Man, I'm right here with you. Oh my God, this happened to us.
Like she was denying us like left and right. Yeah. And we would come back, submit the paperwork, and she would grill us with like 50 questions. Yeah. Deny. And so finally, October 28th, she was like, you know what? It's approved, right? And so we rejoiced. We had big celebrations for sure. As students, you know, getting this done. Yeah. And I was just like, yo, she hated on us, bro. Why she had to do that? You know, she like really tore us down. She don't want to see us flourish, whatever. Yeah. So it was so bad. I ain't like her so bad. I became the comptroller of the SGA, and the SGA controlled her salary. Wow. And I did not pay her.
Wow,
really? I kind of suspended, and the school had to step in. It was like, yo, we have to override you so that she can get paid.
She can get paid, for sure. Really?
Yup. And then this year actually, a few years ago, I thought about it, and I was like, yo, she wasn't really like hating on us. Yeah. She was preparing us. Because I used to always tell my friends, like, yo, they would bring an idea, and I would do the same thing she did to us. Yo, why is this like this?
Right, you gotta pull holes to make sure it's solid. Yeah.
And they would be like, yo, you on your Miss Corbett? And I would be like, yo, bro, if you can answer all the questions before the questions come,
it's solid.
Nobody can not say no, right? Yeah, nobody can say no. And so I started thinking like, yo, she was really programming us for the real world. We in college, bro.
Spitting right like, now, son.
Anybody could say but I'm like, yo, she programming us for the real world.
Facts.
And now when I develop companies, which we'll probably get into, like that,
for sure.
I always go through that process. Like, where is the no? Where is the question going to come from? And how can I answer that question before it comes through? 100%. And I told her that, you know, like, happy birthday, blah, blah, blah. And we kind of had like a heartfelt moment through LinkedIn. She was like, yo, you know what? Yeah. I knew that you didn't like me, and I really didn't know why. I was trying to help and this and that. And I was like, yo, bro, you well, not bro, but yo, ma'am. Like,
real talk, man.
You don't know how much you helped. And I feel so bad for hating
on you in that way. Yeah.
But we all good now. So we made up, and you know what I'm saying, that's just a pivotal moment that I take from that.
That's so dope, man, because I swear to God, I dealt with the same thing. Student activities at Howard University was completely over, like, every organization that would come up. Fact. There was a lot of organizations that was there for like a semester and they gone. Yeah. We just celebrated 11 years.
Congrats to you.
Thank you. You know, and it's crazy because, like, you know, we went through the same process. We was making our Constitution, and the Constitution is like the law at Howard. When you make a Constitution for an organization, that is law.
Facts.
And when we submitted it, there was a lady that was exactly in that same position. I cannot remember her name, and I'm gonna be so upset with myself when I look back on this interview because she was that pivotal for us. She denied us like 10 times, and the point was like, okay, well, I'm gonna tell you why I'm denying you. There was one moment that sticks out to me. She was like, okay, well, this position right here, why don't they have any checks and balances? Right. And it was like, I didn't even think about certain things from that angle. And she just put everything in perspective for me of like, oh, actually, we aren't ready. Yeah. I understand why you denied me 10 times. You know, you were actually preparing me for 10, 50 years from now. When, like, somebody challenges your Constitution, when somebody rises up, or even when you take this mindset into the real corporate world, it's like, where is your checks and balances? Like, where is the moment where you understand that this thing isn't quite right for the scheme that you want to accomplish for the bigger goal? Exactly. Like, I can't give you that. You got to find that for yourself. And when I realized that's what she was doing, it unlocked everything. So much, right? I'm like, bro, like, man, I wish there were more people like her. Facts. Right? Like, I wish I always had a person like that in my life who was like putting it in perspective for me. Exactly. Because there's always an angle you don't see.
Exactly. Bro.
You know?
And there's somebody in the world.
Preaching.
Somebody in the world that's gonna see that angle. Yeah. And they're gonna tear it down.
100%.
Or you know, try to finagle and snake inside. Exactly. And Trojan horse it and take it from you and all of that. So once you got that buttoned up, the sky's the limit for everything.
100%.
That's how I approach business. That's how I approach everything.
Man, it's so many gems, man. We gotta keep going because it's a lot of I want to say like 2010, 2011-ish. Because, I mean, I got to mention this move. You moved to, like, Temple, too, Coppin. There are different charters, and shout to y'all for that, you know, because that's not an easy feat. At all. Especially for our male organization, especially a black male organization, like, it's really unheard of in a lot of ways. Yeah. Unless you're MPHC. So, big shout out to y'all. You know, and 2012, you graduated College of Liberal Arts, bachelor's in hospitality, restaurant management, minor in marketing. Got the Penelope and W. Stewart Taylor scholarship too. By the way,
I don't even know. I don't even remember that.
It's random, but I know that. It's gonna be a lot of names mentioned today too. I just want to mention because you know you rub shoulders with a lot of people. You know. Oh, shout to Freeman and Berman. Neither here nor there.
They my guys. Pull them out.
Yo. You know, big shout out. It's gonna be a lot of names, but shout out to them. You know, and I think this is an important time. You know, like these next couple years are really formative as well. Like, you know, even going to like 2015, 2016, right? You know, you spent some time working with Paycation and Teletravel. Shout out to those groups because people were grinding. People were really working hard to like make things happen there. You know, I want to ask you, like, you know, coming out of college is not easy. Yeah. You know, you like many directions you could go, right? And it's like you got to figure out how to make it work, make it make sense for yourself after post college. You know, a lot of people don't understand what that grind is like. Yeah. You know, so what are some of the lessons you learned, like straight out of college, like making decisions, meeting people, networking? Like, what are some of the lessons you learned straight out of college?
I think now that I'm thinking about this and we're sharing the story chronologically, I think I like the harder road because out of college. I had a job offer. Yeah. I didn't take it. I didn't take the scholarships. I didn't take the job offer. Like, yo, what's up with me? I had a job offer to run Lincoln as a like food service director or whatever. Yeah. I didn't take it because I was still in the lease. My roommate was still in college at the time. Yeah. So I ended up getting some jobs out here, you know, figuring out how to work it, whatever. I worked at Nordstrom's as a cook. And I worked at Towson as a food service supervisor in the morning. and I didn't even have a car, so I would bike to work.
Yeah.
2
the
miles,
hard route, right?
yeah,
the hard
2 miles there, 2 miles back up that Towson Hill.
That's
and
that'll make you
exactly every day, rain, sleet, snow, and some of the things that I just take from that era is just like you gotta make it work, bro.
Yeah,
just,
facts.
I made it work. You know, this is part of this. These are the times where I'm like, bro, you complaining about this? I had to do that. Like, this is where my old man stories. I had to walk.
Back in my day.
Man, back in my day, I was walking through the snow. Like, this is my old man story. Oh,
facts.
Your car broke down? Okay. I've been without a car before. Like,
What's up?
I go get a bike.
And I still made it happen.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
Those are where my stories come from. So that is where I remember 16-hour days between 2 jobs, long days, cooking both jobs, hot, burns, cuts, all of that. 6 days a week. Yeah, 6 days a week. 1 day off on a Sunday, and just figuring it out. Figuring it out.
I'll talk a little bit about that time. I got to go do a little bit of a lightning round because it was a lot of things you did. Spent several years as a corporate chef, even prior to 2015. Interned at Thompson Hospitality at Morgan, 2011. Moved forward to food service operations assistant manager for Towson in 2013, 2014. At 25, worked as executive chef, the youngest ever, by the way, and food service director for Sage Dining Services, Inc. When you was killing it, multi-million-dollar accounts, you know what I'm saying, like McDonough specifically, shout out to McDonough. Man, like, that is, like, a pretty crazy resume. And, at that time, we get to a really important moment because, like, the entire staff ended up getting laid off.
Yeah,
all because of peanuts.
Peanuts on the salad bar, yep.
So imagine that resume and then getting the axe.
It was crazy. My trajectory was moving. Like, when I say moving, bro, from Towson, so I got promoted in Towson. I started as a supervisor, got promoted. The thing about Towson is they didn't have summertime, so it was like they would furlough you on the summertime, bring you back. And I'm like, bro, I can't be furloughed. Like, I need the money. So I started looking, and that's when Sage come in. So Sage, I'm in a school, Our Lady of Good Counsel in Montgomery County. My first year is Stephon Diggs' senior year.
Yeah.
So I used to cook for Stephon Diggs,
literally,
like, every day. And then a couple other guys, came out of that school. But yeah, after that, got promoted to McDonough. I went down to St. John's in Virginia. And the funny thing about that school was that is the filming of Remember the Titans was done partly on St. John's. So
you're reading my notes.
And then come back up to McDonough.
Yeah.
And McDonough was great. The lady there was she was like stuck in her ways, bro. And
it's always one.
Yeah. So the person I was replacing got a promotion. She took over St. John's, and then I took over her spot as the executive chef. And so we did a catering the night before. This is a Thursday. We do a catering. The rule was when there's no kids, if it's like all adults, you can do whatever you want. Obviously, the school is going to pay for happy hours and stuff like that. When you do a happy hour, you eat the little trinkets. It was peanuts this day.
Yeah.
So we have the peanuts. We put it back into the refrigerator. Friday comes. The peanuts end up going, I guess, in her salad section. So the thing about this Friday was we had a regional visit.
Yep.
So our regional directors and all of that stuff came in because we just onboarded a new chef or something. I was moving to food service director, and the chef was going to take my position.
Yeah.
So he comes in. Everything is going great. I mean, it's going great.
It's moving.
Lunch starts. Boom, boom, boom. Is 3,000 students fighting over lettuce and tongs and all of that stuff. You ever seen a salad bar? Just imagine like 3,000 people running through a salad bar.
Yeah,
everything
anarchy.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So, just to give y'all guys some context, peanuts is a very allergen hyper food.
Oh, it's like top of the line.
Yeah,
allergen.
Exactly. So the rule is so bad. The rule is K through 12. No peanuts. Right? No nuts, no seeds, anything like that in K through 12. So when they hit the salad bar, imagine 3,000 people running through the salad bar and how fast like peanuts can spread all through the salad bar, right?
Everywhere.
And so the next day, they pulled us aside and was like, "Yo, what was that? You know, blah, blah, blah. We clean it up. You know, we do all of that." But they charged me with firing the salad lady.
Yep. Damage was done.
Yeah, the salad lady had to go that day.
Yeah.
The chef went that Monday.
Yep.
And then I was let go like that Friday.
Yeah.
Right. And so they cleaned house. Brought in a whole new staff. On top of that, that was a contract year for McDonough. McDonough was their flagship account. Doing like $8 million a year.
Yeah.
So it was like, we can't risk it. Everybody got to go.
Everybody got to go.
And so I don't really blame them because I would probably would have did the same thing for
real
$8 million.
Real talk.
I never wanted to be in that position again, and that's probably where your next question is coming. Is when they fired me, I sat there and was like, I don't want anybody ever to be able to dictate my income ever again or anything over my life.
100%.
And so I took that knowledge that I gained from growing those accounts and running those businesses to start my own.
Yeah, starting your own. And I think we'll get right to there because I think it's important though because I always look at moments that are like really trying for us as like, you know, especially in your story, it's a very big blessing in disguise. Like it's bittersweet. You know, you got let go from a pretty big account, a pretty big company that was managing multi-million-dollar accounts, but like it really launched yourself into your own entrepreneurship. Yeah. You know, whether it felt good in the moment, because I know it didn't, you know, but like that was really the impetus, like the force that made you like realize like, yeah, I'm taking this in my own hands, you know, and this leads to the dinner club, you know, hospitality catering company. But originally it was, you know, just meal preps by Chef Keem. Yeah. Right? You know, and where you served, and that in the dinner club, you served as, you know, owner and executive chef. And I want to talk to you about sort of, you know, just that early step of, you know, deciding to make the dinner club and then the ideas you had going into creating a company such as that.
Yeah, so I had a roommate, my guy Leon, shout out to one of my best friends, Leon. Yeah. He actually came up with the name Dinner Club. I didn't really like it at the time, but whatever. Yeah. And I was just like, you know, how am I going to generate fast money? I don't have the equipment to cater, and I don't have what can I do, right? I can't be a restaurant, so what can I do? Oh, okay, I can meal prep. Meal prep is really kind of taking off right now. Yeah. And my first weekend, I made like $3,000, like first weekend. So I'm like, yo,
it's taking off.
This is lit, right? This is lit. I just got fired, made $3,000, like it's
real
lit.
Tough.
And then, you know, the highways and the roller coaster of being an entrepreneur, that didn't sustain all the time. Yeah. So I had to figure it out. And slowly but surely turned it from meal prep and started putting all the money back into it and started, you know, growing into catering and getting all of the equipment and stuff like that and building it really bootstraps from the ground up. Facts. And that was one of the key things that told me, like showed me, okay, this is how you go from not knowing something to knowing something. Yeah. Right? And it was kind of going back to the culinary thing.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm taking all of these foundational things and I learned how to put systems in place and operational things in place. And so now that things are running kind of automatically while I'm actually in the kitchen doing the work. So I'm a one-man show running this business, and it kind of seems like there's multiple people in the pot where there really wasn't.
It's just me.
Yeah. Yeah. And so eventually, that was 2017. Yep. Like by 2019, I think I was doing over six figures. Yeah. Just by myself. And the first year I did six figures, I looked at the number and I was like, wow, this is the most money I made in my life.
Real talk.
And then the second thing I did was, okay, now I understand the amount of work it takes to make six figures, right? So I started making that the standard. So I started putting things in place like, okay, what did I do every day? Okay, every day I organized my stuff for the week. I lined up with what I had, you know, on my calendar and the caterings. And 2 days prior to a catering, I would do certain things, right? So I put all of this stuff in place. Yeah. And it just became routine. Yeah. And then after that, six figures became six figures. Which was like,
facts. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
real talk.
Like the system was there. Yeah. And so when 2020 happened, I was like big, and I don't want to sound.
We'll get there.
All right, cool. So, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I just to sort of recap in that time frame, like you went from private contract only catering company to a ghost kitchen to a business with multiple physical locations, like all focused on healthy eating and like shifting the narrative of like viewing eating healthy as like an actual easy option, right? Like, and like especially for millennials, by the way, like it's not, if I'm not mistaken, like your cousin is also like a registered dietitian, like right?
She's a doctor,
you know, like and. Like, so you were able to also, leverage her knowledge in terms of like a dietary, approach, but also like easy, sustainable meals. And it's like, we haven't had that in the black community, which made sense why it was so successful for you, like to keep that system going, because who else was offering something like that to black people? I go to my grandmother's hood, it's 3 liquor stores, like a chicken spot and like a corner store. Yeah. Like it's not a real sustainable, healthy eating option. And how many other grandmothers is like that? How many other people live in that?
Big food deserts in Baltimore.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We know sort of the system that is built to make sure that we don't have those options. So I can understand that it was very, like lucrative for you because you were giving that thing back to the community that we were losing. I just want to give you that shout out too, by the way, because
appreciate it.
That is it's a long journey to be able to make that 6 figures and make it sustainable. Yeah. And the work that it takes, like you said, is like that doesn't go unnoticed. I'm telling you, that doesn't go unnoticed.
Right.
Even with your company, you were able to create meals for like Shy Glizzy, Wiz Khalifa, 2 Chainz, Meek Mill, Kevin Blackstone, late great Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. Like, Roger Mason Jr., man, Yo Gotti, Dreezy, Ace Hood, YB and Cordae, so many more. I can't even, like,
the list
will go, but that means your work ethic had to be there to make it make sense.
So I was kind of a one-man team for a long time. It got to the point where I had to start hiring, help. Like,
real talk.
The events are getting bigger, right? Like,
can't do all of
stuff. I need help. So I started hiring.
No cap.
And it was just like, all right, this is what we're doing. And I seen once I started hiring how much I could not be in it but oversee it and kind of be
facilitate,
the puppet master and go after different things.
Yeah.
And so once I started doing that, I was like, you know what? I don't want to work with people because people always got a budget. How can I work with companies?
Yeah.
And I met this guy. I was getting in the Baltimore market. Like, I was good with working with people and companies in the Baltimore market.
Sure.
I wanted to be in D.C. because I knew that D.C. is where the money at.
Yeah, it is.
So I met this guy, and there's a thing in D.C. called liaisons. I don't know what they're called. They're like small business liaisons.
Sure.
So basically, these big businesses in D.C. have to work with minority-owned small businesses, or else they will lose like a lot of the grants and stuff that they get. Yeah. Right? And so the job of the liaison is to find these small businesses and pair them up with these big businesses, right? It's a lucrative, it's a lucrative business for him,
right?
Because, and I'll tell you how. So one time, he was like, "Yo, I got this gig, boom, boom, boom. What's the budget gonna be?" So I tell him, I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I could do it for like, $1,700." He was like, "Nah." I was like, "All right, 25." He was like, "Nah." I was like, "All right, $3,000?" He was like, "Nah." I'm like, "Yo, bro, what's the number?" He said, "Yo, tell him 4,000. I'm gonna add 6, and then I'll keep the 6. You get the 4,000." So I was like, they gonna do that?
All right.
He was like, "Yo, listen, I'm gonna tell them, and they gonna do it." So I'm like, "All right, bet." Lo and behold, bro, it was like not even a conversation. I was like, "Okay, cool." From that day on, I said 2 things. I said, "Oh, that's my man. I need more of him."
No
right?
bullshit.
But like, if I could get 2 with him,
bullshit.
I'm good. I'm not doing people no more.
Yeah.
And my prices are too low. So those things, I was like, "Yeah, let's figure this out." So I kind of just like redid the whole thing, and I would take small people like private parties on the side, but any pushback, bro, they like, "Yeah, I'm not. I ain't got it. All right, I ain't got it. I'm back over here."
Yeah, real talk.
So I started getting, I guess it was the reputation of like, "Oh, he expensive," or whatever. And it wasn't even, I don't want to put it out there like I'm expensive, but I know the worth
Yeah.
And I can get paid easily over here. Why spend a couple weeks trying to book this, right?
Not doing
so,
that.
lo and behold, a lot of mental development started to happen in this, this time from this phase.
Yeah.
Also, at this time, people are starting to notice who I am, how the business is going. So they're like asking for help, and a little bit of like free coaching is going on the side, and
this is important.
I'm meeting higher level chefs. So now I'm like, okay, I know where I'm at. These people see where I'm at. They want to be where I'm at, but I want to be where they at.
Yeah.
What's the next jump from here to there? My guy, Chef JR.
I was going to mention that. Yeah, shout out Chef JR. Kitchen Craig.
My guy, Chef JR. Yeah. I studied him, right? I studied him. Yeah. I studied Chef Tobias. Get well soon.
Yep.
For him.
Yep.
So I studied them too.
Yeah.
And I would go to the places where they are. Like you said, my best friend is DJ Flo. So I had
party in DC, right?
Yeah.
Flo actually pointed him out. He was like, "Yo, there you go."
Exactly. So he points him out like, "Yo, there go your man." I'm like, "Who?" He like JR. JR's in his own section. I'm in a whole other section. I got to get through my section, security, the party, get in his section somewhere and figure it out, right? So I end up doing it. I mean, in his section is like Wale, Mr. Ruggs,
I was ready to say, it's a lot of people in that section.
Yes, like this ain't no small thing. DC, somebody get in your section, it's like, yo, who is this dude trying to bottle chase or whatever? Right. So I end up talking to him like, yo, listen, I noticed the party. I know this ain't the time. I wanted to say that I'm, what I'm saying, I respect you a lot.
Yeah,
and if whatever I can do to help, let's do it.
Yeah.
So he like, yo, meet me when we get outside after the party.
At the let out. I got you. Yeah.
So I holla at him at the let out. He over there. If y'all know like where Rose Bar at, it's like, oh my God, it's like a 3-lane road going one way, an island, and a 3-lane road going the other way. So I had to run across the street to him, hook him up, talk to him. He threw me a hat out the car. Kitchen Craig hat out the car. I was like, yo, welcome to the team. Off the brick, like, right? So I'm like, yo, like, what's like, hi. A couple days later, I'm like, yo, why did you, just do that? He was like, yo, nobody has ever chased me down with that passion before. And I'm like, yo, bro, you have no idea. Like, you have no idea how much I want this. So, fast forward, COVID comes.
2019, 2020.
2020, yep. Yeah. COVID comes. He got the restaurants now. He's blown up. He's established. He got the restaurants. I'm in Laurel now, still running the business. My business obviously get halted because I'm working with companies now, and the company shut down. So all of my revenue is like out the window, right?
Yeah.
So I hit JR up like one time, like, yo, I know it's a hard time. Whatever you need, I'm here. Like I got you. So I end up volunteering the whole year.
No pay.
Never asked for nothing.
Yeah, I swear you're reading my notes. For no pay.
For no pay,
An entire year.
Like, no pay, not nothing. And so
that's dedication,
while I'm doing this is a full time.
Yeah,
right?
Real talk. Like,
I'm doing gigs on the side to make my own income.
High level.
But this is full time, and what started to happen was he started bringing me, I'm not going to say he started bringing me around his network, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, this is my young bro, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I started catching so much fallout business from business that he didn't want. Like, he's like, yo, it's a perfect story. It was a 20 grand contract to cook for the homeless during COVID. He was like, I'm not going outside. I'm like, shit, this ain't gonna kill me. I will. 20 grand.
I'm outside with the homeless,
so he like, all right, bet you know what I'm saying? You can have it. So he gave me a $20,000 contract just because he didn't feel like it. I still had to work full time, but I still had to figure out how to feed 7,000 people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He allowed me to use his restaurant to get it done without pay out of the 20 grand. And, the relationship just kept building. And to this day, like, I've only asked him for one thing. And I always check in, like, yo, whatever you need, or, yo, this is what I'm doing, this is how I can add value, or I see how you moving, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why you making those decisions?
Right.
And so we had a conversation one time, and he used to post his revenue on as like a calculator he'd take a screenshot and post it on the internet. And one time I hit him up, it was a big number, and I hit him up. I was like, yo, that's that's for the year or for the month. I forgot what I said. It was if I said for the year, he was like, no, for the month. But if I said for the month, he was like, nah, that's for the week. And I was like,
it's shorter than you thought.
Yeah, exactly, like drastically shorter. So I'm like, okay, what was the steps that you did to get from where I was, like from where you was in the kitchen just running the brunches at Ozio's? What was the steps that you did to get from here to get to where you are? Because I'm currently in the position where I'm running the kitchens in the Ozio's. I want to get to where you at.
Where you are.
So he gave me a list, and I printed out that conversation. I screenshotted the conversation, printed it out, and posted it like on my desk, like right here.
That's a vision board. It's a vision board.
For 2 years, I posted it. And I was like, all right, I need to figure out how to do bop, right? Yeah. And so 2 years fast forward, I'm out of the industry. But the idea of it was, again, I had to see the system foundationally from what took me from, let's say, where I'm at now is level 1 to where he's at, right? I did it on my own. I got from 0 to 1 on my own. I figured it out. I can help anybody get from 0 to 1. I can't help y'all get from 1 to 2.
I
needed him. And he showed me the pathway to get from 1 to 2. And not even, dang, this is crazy. Put that on the vision board. Not even a year later, I had 2 restaurants.
Torch Foods.
Yo,
that's in my notes. I'm telling you. I'm putting this in perspective because, like I said at the top of the interview, people got to know the journey that made you who you are.
Right.
Like, these individual moments are so important because if it had not been for that, big brother, little brother relationship, now, if it wasn't for you paying attention to all of these moments and gaining your network and growing your understanding of the system, had you not had any of that, would you have been able to do that? Have 2 restaurants?
Not at all, bro.
And that matters because people that ate there didn't know the work that it took for you to be there, to make that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's why this conversation matters.
One of the pet peeves, I know it's always a joke, but one of the pet peeves that I always had where people would be like, yo, what you cooking today? Or what you got? Like, what you got for me? Bro, like, the food just don't come out the trunk, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't got
real talk.
In my back pocket.
Right.
But,
no cap.
All of that, bro. All of that took time. And one of the things that I would say, so I went into partnership with my best friend, DJ Flo.
Yeah.
That's in your notes.
Big shout out. It's right here.
Yep. So, so I got trust. So, we have like a we call ourselves the commission. It's like 4 or 5 of us, 6 of us, really good friends. Yeah. And Leon, my old roommate, he used to come to my job sometimes. We had like happy hours or like things for alumni or something. And he'd be like, yo, you really run all this? You really do all this? Yo, it take that big of a refrigerator to feed? The kitchen need to be this big to feed this amount of people?
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah. And so one day, Flo was like, we going over like numbers or logistics or something. And he like, yo, bro, you ain't never did this before. You don't know what you're talking about. And Leon was like, dog, he can do this with his eyes closed. Okay. I've seen it. He feeds 3,000 people on a regular. I've seen it. He can do this by himself.
It's like,
So from that moment on, like at that point, again, another point in my life where it was kind of like, I wasn't really, I took it all for granted, I guess, and he kind of put it in perspective. And I was like, damn, I really do got the experience.
Can do this.
And so when I started moving in that light, like, this is the budget. This is what we're going to do. This is where our percentages need to be. This is how it's going to do. I'm the expert in this field.
Right.
You go out and build it, get the money, do all this. Yeah. Let me handle the back office. And that's what we settled on.
We going to be
good. And we were good. We went up. We got from did 1 location in Torch. Signed in like 4 or 6 months. Signed our 2nd location. We was running both of them. And we got a little overzealous. The second deal wasn't as good as the first. Which I know from JR. That was one of the key things. Like, yo, the deal is what's going to set you up. And the second deal was nowhere near as good as the first. And so when it was time to get the third, COVID happened. And so COVID kind of slowed everything up. And we actually survived and thrived through COVID. But at this time, it's nights, it's weekends. I'm getting the food and every day, it's a lot. I live in Laurel. The restaurants are in Baltimore.
Logistically, it's difficult.
My girlfriend was pregnant with my first child during COVID, right? So all of this was
you reading my notes, huh?
So I took all of this into consideration, and I was just like, yo, I'm gonna bow out. You can have it. Buy me out.
Sure.
And I'm gonna focus on finance, and that's how we got to where.
Real talk.
We got to.
Yeah. And this is an incredible time too, because like you said, getting into fatherhood.
I thought I was about to be like. I'm telling you, I thought my trajectory was about to be, I'm JR, bro.
Yeah, facts. No, real talk. I mean, COVID hit this community like a Mack truck, like in a real way too, because it's like, but just to deal with everything you were dealing with at the time, like multiple restaurants, COVID, fatherhood, like. Ups and downs, financial things that are like, I'm trying to figure things out. I'm trying to put my own journey in perspective. I know that's difficult to do. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not, like, a lot of people buckle with less.
Yeah.
And you were able to still somehow come through it, in a great way. Even build, and still, to this day, every one of these moments, you're building your financial mind. You're building the system in your mind. Like, you understanding what went wrong. Taking that lesson, logging it in the book. Mm-hmm. Now I'm like, it's like this mental portfolio of good decisions is really going to elevate you in this financial space because it's all about decisions. And
I have to add on to that. Again, off camera, we talked about a little bit about our spirituality.
Yeah.
But not just the decisions, good or bad, but also like getting knocked down and getting back up every single time.
Facts.
Right. And for me, I never. When people say get back up, like you think of
like physically,
human body, like
physically
get
back up. Yeah.
I never gave myself credit for getting back up. It's always I never died. Right. I never. This never killed me. This never. So I'm always going to figure it out. Like it's always going to happen. I have the faith.
Yeah.
When we facing, in college, we facing eviction for the crib. Like I always got the faith. When I had y'all remember swine flu? Mm-hmm. I caught the swine flu with like 104 degrees fever, which is like almost coma, right? Mm-hmm. Didn't go to the hospital, didn't have health insurance in college, and I look back and I'm like, yo, bro, I was sick. Like I got this. Like I had the swine flu. Like I didn't die. Yeah. You feel me? God got me through all these situations. So when I get into tough situations, it's always like, yo, if I don't die, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So like, whatever the outcome is, I'm going to be able to get back up because God got me, right?
God got me.
And so that's how I take all of those scenarios. And even when it was COVID, when it was had no income, we couldn't pay our rent and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, yo, bro, we're going to figure it out.
We're going to make it happen.
Like, God got us. Like, we good. and it's not saying like I'm doing nothing.
No, facts.
But it's like I'm doing the work. And I know that it's not going to be the end.
That's facts.
So, I'll take that into everything.
Oof.
So
that's a bar.
Yeah.
That's a bar. No, God got us. I mean, in real life, it's like, everything you've done. Like you said, you took the hard road. Like, there were so many moments that was difficult that happened in your life, and it ended up becoming the best decision you ever made. Mm-hmm. To make the life that you have today, because God got you. Like it was like. That makes so much sense to me, seeing your journey, and I know it makes a world of sense to you because you've lived it. Mm-hmm. But to everyone that's watching, that's a gem. Hold that with you. And I would keep going a bit. I mean, I think it's small. It's crazy because in 2021, I think I forgot something. You featured in a commercial. Shout out to Thimble. It was a Thimble commercial. I know that must have felt good to be featured, to be seen for the work that you've put in because so many times we get overlooked.
Nah, it was crazy, bro. I'm telling you, stuff was just happening left and right. And I'm like, my friends called it the Cardi B year. And so to break it down, I don't know if like hip-hop people who paid attention when Cardi B was winning like 8 Grammys and all, that year that she had she went crazy.
Yeah.
Like, we've identified that as, yo, this is your Cardi B year and your journey. So people were calling like, yo, this is your Cardi B year. You got the crib. You got the baby on the way. You got the businesses. You in commercials. Like, you this, you that. And I'm like, yo, I'm just grinding, bro. I did my head down. By the time I look up, like, dang, all that did happen. Yeah. Right? So that's how it felt to me. Like, I was just working, taking it a day at a time, just moving.
Yeah.
But people on the outside looking in like, yo, he's golden right now. He's it. Like, he got the touch on him.
No cap. Yeah. It's like, man, you don't know what it took for me to be here.
Nah, like, it definitely took 15 years to be overnight success.
Like, it took a lot of work, son. Like, I want to move to 2023 because, like, then, you know, you began working with First Financial Group. Mm-hmm. You know, absolutely killed it in your first year. Mm-hmm. Let's say blowing away expectations, you know, exceeding, like, whatever metrics they had. Like, you went, like, 142% or something like that. Yep. And that's crazy because, like, again, that's the work ethic. That's, like, you taking the difficult route, but it's going to be the most beneficial at the end because you're gaining all the skills. You're still, mind you, building your financial mind. Mm-hmm. You know, and I say all these are important. I have to walk the audience through this because it's like puzzle pieces to show the full picture. Every one of these moments matters to build your financial mind. Mm-hmm. You know, 2024, founded Overflow Capital. You're helping millennials like reach financial security, like through health, it's real estate, investments, like, you know, all of the wealth of knowledge you've had up until 2024 is able to make you the person who gives great financial advice today, mm-hmm. great like decision-making advice today. And that goes well beyond finances. It's like you've been in so many realms. It's like you're a great advice giver to somebody who's trying to make their life better, right? Mm-hmm. But finance is like, we live in a capital society. Most important thing is capital.
Exactly.
You know, so like that's like if you're making good decisions, you probably should make good decisions in finance, right? Yeah. So tell me about just that time. You know, and as we kind of wrap up, because we're, you know, now into 2024, talking about, you know, your current ventures. Tell us about that decision to go into sort of your own financial company, mm-hmm. but also like the reason you give people this advice and using your wealth of knowledge to help people with their lives.
So I'll take you back to when I was buying myself out. Not only was, you know, my daughter coming and all of that stuff, but I started to see pivots in people in the industry. Yeah. Craig, Taste This, owner of Taste This. Hope Craig, I hope you don't, you know, hate me for sharing this.
Big shout out.
You know, he still has Taste This, but at that time, his mindset was, you know, a pivot is coming. Mm-hmm. And I started to notice that he was doing things outside of culinary and outside of restaurants, right? Yeah. Chef JR was doing things outside of culinary, outside of restaurants. Yeah. There's a couple other guys that I noticed in the area that was doing things outside of the restaurant. So I started to see a trend. And I asked JR and Craig, you know, why are you making a move? And it was kind of like, yeah, this is sustainable, but to what end, right? And so you wanted to kind of diversify your income a little bit. Also, don't want to be in the industry that has the least amount of profits, the largest amount of like chargeback, all of that, the hardest, right, to be in, harder on the body and all of that. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, I understand that. So that made the decision a little easier. Like, okay, if these big dogs are doing it, it's okay for me. I can do it, right?
Too, yeah, for sure.
And so when I made the pivot, remember I got out of the restaurants, and I kind of took the rest of the year off. I didn't really do too much. I started learning how to trade stocks. So I'm trading stocks and options, and I'm making a lot of money, and I'm just, you know, like, somebody needs to know this, right? Yeah, but people will start asking me like, yo, can you do this for me? I see you making this money. Can you do it? Can you do it? And I'm like, nah, I know that's not the right way to do it. I don't know what is the right way, but I know that's not the right way. And so my girl was like, yo, why don't you just figure out what's the right way? And so I started looking into it, and I was like, you know what, let's get a job and let's figure this out. So I got a job with the FFG, like you said, and that came at a surprise because I thought I was going to be, yes, they do manage like portfolios and stuff like that, but I thought I was just going to come in and start trading. It's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
Like digital graphics, right?
Yeah, you gotta start from the ground up. You got to start from the foundation.
So I'm like, all right, cool. So, you know, this is my passion, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to quit on this. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to keep going. And they gave me a lot of foundational things where we talk about retirement planning and how it's not looking good for people, and you know how people do it wrong, and the whole system got us doing it wrong. Yeah. And I'm just like, yo, that's crazy.
Real talk.
And so now I'm starting to get like an understanding, education, and a passion for it.
Exactly.
So I'm like, okay, all right. So with my entrepreneurial mind,
right,
and then with the knowledge that I'm gaining, I'm like, okay, how does this work? Because mind you, those are like old white men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they run the industry. So I'm like, they definitely don't. Whatever they're saying works for their target. They don't know what to say to my target market.
Exactly.
So I'm like, all right, I need to take what they do, position it into my target market.
Yeah.
And figure it out. So I start creating systems and lead funnels and all of that stuff that I'm just again the knowledge that I'm growing from based off of having a company prior, being a millennial, being tech savvy, all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I can start to figure it out, and I start figuring it out, and I'm like, you know what? Why house my license with them? I can just house my license by myself.
Exactly.
And not give people the opportunity to, F me over or whatever.
Yeah, take it in my own hands.
So I start doing that. And I start noticing the contracts that I'm getting with insurance companies, my commission is double what it was at the other company. Yeah. And I'm like, you mean to tell me that wasn't normal? Like I was being... I don't know, the word that came to my mind I don't want to use, but I was being like, bro, taken advantage of. Bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting a 40%.
Yeah.
And they getting 60.
Crazy.
When I started at an 85 over here. Yeah. And now I'm, the commission spreads are totally different, but that let me know, okay, yeah, I need to focus. I need to take this into my own hands.
For sure.
And so that's how I got here. Started making connections and building up different things and putting pieces in place where I can kind of piece together the entire company, and now I'm at a position where it's really taking off.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you said that, because man, I think so often we take for granted what was instilled in us and what we realized about our journey, like retroactively, in retrospect. I even think, and this is something I forgot to mention, like your mom played a big role in this too, because like she instilled in you, like, have a goal, have a plan, have a strategy, and that's like the big three, right? Like I think she even made you write in pen. Yeah. So whenever you messed up, you had to start over from scratch. The whole
thing. Yeah. How do you know this?
I mean,
yo, this is crazy. Yeah, she used to make me write in pen, not pencil. Yeah. And if I couldn't like scratch out a word or anything like that,
start over.
I had to start all over. And if my pen ever went, like the letters ever went past the margin lines, I'll have to start over. If I ever wrote on the back side of the paper like the wrong way, I had to start over. So like a lot of it was definitely very rigid. But it turns out to be for my benefit. So
that's exactly right. All of these moments, down to getting laid off, like down to like even your car getting repossessed, like it's so many things that happen in our lives that I think we take for granted in a moment. But honestly, when we get to these high levels, how many other people are just enjoying our product but don't realize, like, yo, I was a person that had to grind to get here. Man. Like I had to like internally like suffer, to like make sure that this is the greatest thing that I can provide for you. And that's what I want to do with my show, because I want to show people that, like, yo, it's some real life happened that like made this be how great you love it.
Exactly.
Like
it's not overnight. A lot of people, what's the word? They like relish over the end of the journey, right? They want to talk about
just the fruit. Yeah.
You want to talk about like the fruit of the tree. We can stick with that. I'm gonna plant the seed, but I can't wait to get to the fruit. When really the journey is
cultivating.
Exactly, bro. Like you're talking about the end of the journey. When you get that fruit, it's done. Like
it's over. Yeah.
The process is the journey.
That's the making.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, hell yeah.
I tell myself, like, when times get hard, bro, this is just one of the stories that you're gonna end up telling to show what you had to overcome. Facts. Whenever you get to the place where you're sharing your story. Like, it is what it is. Like, there's a lot of sayings. I'm pretty sure some of you guys heard them. It's like, if you ask for courage, God not going to give you courage. He's going to give you obstacles and things that you're afraid of.
Exactly.
To see that if you do it in the midst of being afraid, right? That's courage.
That's
if
courage.
you ask for discipline, God is going to put temptation around you and see if you could get that temptation out the way, and now you can focus on the main thing. Boom. That's discipline, right? You're not going to get what you're asking for. You're going to get the opposite of what you're asking for or what you want, so that you can in turn do what you want. So if you want to be successful, there's going to be a lot of pitfalls, obstacles, things that can make you very unsuccessful. Yeah. The thing is, are you going to build these characteristics that you need in order to be successful, right? You can't be successful without certain characteristics. And if you ask God to be successful, those tests are going to come to give you those characteristics so that you can then be successful.
Smoke that. You smoked that.
I wish I had that on my
man. No cap. That might be a clip, son. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know a better way to end this. I mean, honestly, like, you've been generous with your time, and I know you got, you outside. Because, this is one of the free days you got, and I do not want to take up a lot of your time, and you've been super gracious, and, I just loved having you here, talking about your story, talking about your journey, because I think, like I said, when I first met you at the financial, I think it was the Operation Hope.
Operation Hope, yeah. Event. Did you know who I was at that point?
No, I did not.
So all this research came from then to now?
Then to now.
That's crazy. Yeah. So, speaking of that Operation Hope, I started putting kind of the same. I took that same map of, okay, what did I do over here to make $100K or 6 figures plus?
Yeah, for sure.
And how can I tailor that over here in this business to do the same thing, right? And I noticed that some of the same principles align.
Exactly.
So
right. Yeah.
I started implementing those, and getting down to like marketing and all of that. I started reaching out to one-to-many markets, right? And the partnership to Operation Hope was a one-to-many market, and it allowed me to get on that platform, Speak to Many, where I met you.
Exactly. Yeah. Smoke that. Talk
where now meeting him is a one-to-many market, because I'm meeting you guys on the pod. And thank you, by the way.
No doubt.
And when you start putting these foundational things in place, like, you can really learn how to scale. And I don't know why I'm going down this path, but like it just, that is what you need to do in order to be successful. So if I can share just one last thing.
Sure, please.
So my name is Keem. I'm the founder and CEO of Overflow Capital. I changed my mission statement from we help people maximize their profits and minimize their management fees and taxes to just protect what matters, right? We help people protect what matters. So if that's your life, if that's your income, if that's your kids, we're going to have a discussion so we can figure out how we protect our assets, both, physical assets and monetary assets, and make sure that we can get to from point A where we are now to point B, which is a good retirement, right? So there's a lot of strategies that people don't know about it. Yeah. And I think what's out there in the world or in the market or, traditional retirement planning is not the way to go. And so if you guys, anybody on here, if you guys want to talk about, life insurance, want to talk about retirement, want to talk about helping your children get financially free or financially stable, whatever the case, whatever you want to talk about financially, let's do that. So let's just hit me up on Finance Keem, FINANCE KEEM as in Mary, and just DM me. You can go to Overflow Cap and just book a time on my calendar as well. OverflowCapCAP.com, and you can book a time on my calendar.
No, for sure. You heard it first, man. Chef Keem, Finance Keem, Keem is in the building, man. Whatever you want to call him. I mean, he a jack of all trades at this point. Whatever you want to call him, he is here, and I'm super, super glad that we got to actually make this happen because, I told you, I was looking forward to telling your story. Yeah. When we met at Operation Hope, I was looking forward to telling your story because I knew that, like, the conviction you had and the knowledge you had when you was on stage, I was like, I knew for a fact there's a story there. Yeah. And I was well greeted with a great journey, and I just appreciate you for coming out, man. I appreciate you for spending some time with me, bigger moves, bigger business moves, bigger, events, bigger, endeavors, acquisitions. Like, I know it's like so readily happening in the future, and I'm just glad to see your journey. I'm glad to see another black man in a great space, because we need to see more people like us, really making moves and telling these stories because they happen, they real, Before you leave, I got to leave with a short, sacred Baltimore proverb, and that is, keep doing what you're doing.
Appreciate
because,
you.
it's gonna be gonna be better for me.
I will. I only have to, man. There's a lot of things on the list.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir. There's a lot of things on the list that need to be checked off. So definitely.
For sure. And I know us at Vibe Studios, us at Ground 3 Radio, we're going to be supporting you, shouting you out every chance we get. And, you know, I'm going to be there. If you open another little pop-up situation, let me know. I'm going to be there.
It might happen. You never know. You never know.
I got to get some financial information for you. We're going to be offline. We're going to talk. But, you know, man, I just appreciate everything you're doing and everything you're going to, because I know this is just the beginning.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for having me, man. We had a very good conversation. I'm glad we can make it happen. Finally.
It's not gonna be our last. I mean, you're gonna do some other things. We're gonna talk again, but you know, once again, it's your boy Mike on the mic from the Vibe Perspective Podcast. Tapped on my guys at Ground 3 Radio. DJ OK, man, calling that 443-377-1872. Again, the number is 443-377-1872. Leave a message about my guy Chef Keem, Finance Keem. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you like. One of his business moves, one of his dishes he's created for you. He likes plating. He likes sauces. Like. Whatever you want to say, call in. We got you. You can leave a message. We're going to answer that. We're going to read it. And, man, keep the vibe alive, man. We out of here. Peace.
What's up, y'all? It's Finance Keem. We here at Ground 3 Radios. We rocking with Mike on the mic. We just wrapped up recording, man. We had an excellent episode. If you get a chance, go listen to this episode. We talked about so much and how the journey matters. And it's not just the end of the road. So make sure y'all tap in. Follow, like, and share, and subscribe on the YouTube. This Finance Keem, and I'm out.